Hello everyone, Gritz here. I'd like to welcome you to a new series on this channel called BattleTech. I actually started playing BattleTech back in the 80s. I absolutely love the game, love the franchise, love the world. Back in college, I actually started working on a army-sized campaign. So instead of just the normal 1 to 4 mechs or lance that you might use in game, you would actually be army level and have 10, 12,000, 20,000 mechs in your army, and you could call upon various groups for different campaigns. But was waiting for Alpha 17, the 7 Days to Die, to come out, and I tripped on this on Steam and decided I have got to do it. Now, I did start this last night, but when I looked at the recordings today, about halfway through, the in-game recording audio was gone. So we're having to start over. I had made it through the training mission. So things might go a little fast here in the beginning, which is good because it looks like this is going to be a slow process. But basically, the Flashpoint is available now. And then sometime this summer, we're supposed to receive Urban Warfare, which was in the mainstream, is when they started adding smaller mechs for like city defense and things like that. And then it looks like there's an expansion 3. They haven't figured out a name yet or a date. So we'll go ahead and get started with this. We'll click on campaign and we're going to start a new one. And let's see, we'll go with a standard campaign.
I am Kamea of House Urano, High Lady of the Oregon Reach, Protector of Coromadir, and the Sword of Restoration. But I am not a hero, no matter what the stories say. A hero would have sacrificed more, compromised less. A hero would have done better. You know this, of course. You were there. My father used to tell me stories about the ancient times. About the Star League, a golden age of prosperity, upheld by the great mech warriors of old, guardians of the innocent, protectors of the peace. I always dreamed of following in their footsteps. I was too young to see the truth of things. After all, it wasn't heroism or a noble cause that won me the throne. It was hiring a mercenary, skilled enough, perhaps ruthless enough, to carry the day. Hiring you. I still don't know if you fought for honor or for the thrill of it, for belief in my cause, or just in my money. But whether it was your noble heart or mercenary mind, your actions gave us hope. That makes you a hero in the eyes of history. Whether you believe it, that's up to you.
Awesome. BattleTech Restoration. Okay, so one of the things I found out last night, as you guys know if you've watched any of my other videos, the game just slows to a crawl when I take time to read this stuff. It just seems to break everything that makes a video good. Whether my videos are good or not is another story. So, what I'm going to do when there's text on the screen, like what's going to be on the next few screens, when we're actually developing our character, is I will go ahead and leave the information on the screen for a second or three, and then just click through all the options. So you guys feel free to pause the video, take a look at everything that's there if you're interested, and then after that I'll come back and make my choice and we'll move to the next screen. Okay, so here we go. Decades ago, your family came to the Reach from, and like I said, I'll just go ahead and bring each one of these up for a few seconds. Pause the video if you want to take time to read these. Now, in the main series, way back when, I would normally play either for Karita, Steiner, or Leado. Leado. Yeah, whatever that is. Like I said, mispronouncing names. Sometimes that's humor that my friends take, but I don't know how much you guys enjoy it. We'll just see. So I think we're going to go ahead and take Marek, since this is a new game. Let's go ahead and try something new. You are of noble birth. There's some information. Until the day after your 16th birthday, when and I'm going to play You Were Exiled. That gives us +1 gunnery and +1 tactics. Out on your own, you fell into a life of, and I believe freelancer is where I wanted to be. Yeah, let's go with freelancer. Until years later, you cross paths with Montgomery once again. And this is basically where he offers us a job, and we need to get the daughter to the throne, basically. Okay, call sign is going to be Gritz, if I can spell. And then we need an alias. Since we're exiled from our own area, let's go ahead and take on a random first name, Na, and a random last name, Chin. Na Chin. We will go with he, and this character I think looks pretty badass. So that's what we're gonna do. So here's our background, gives us a chance to make any changes we may want. We have a gunnery of 3, a piloting of 2, a tactics of 4, and guts of 2. So here we are, Coronation Day, 08:53 local time. Okay, so when this finally starts, we're going to be on the range of the ruling house and basically testing our mech. So it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be some times where the NPCs are actually talking and you can hear them. There's other times where there's just text on the screen. Again, I'm not going to try to read that text to you. Feel free to pause the video and you can take as long as you need to read it and then come on back.
Command interface initiated.
Okay, so right now we're learning the movements. WASD will move the camera. We can also slide the mouse to the edge of the screen, which I don't like so much. It just seems to keep scrolling forever. But, you know, that's all down to personal preference. Then you have Q and E, which will actually rotate the camera. What's kind of nice about that is there's times where you might want to look at the terrain from different angles. So, there you go. So, we're at the Espinosa refit yards, which is actually the uncle's refit yards. And they basically did some work on our mech to bring it back up to spec. And now we're going to try it out and make sure everything's working. So, this is a turn-based game. So the enemy had their turn, then there was a neutral turn, and then it's our turn. So we click on our character according to the information.
Say it, kid. I wasn't completely honest with you the other day. There's going to be more to this job than escort duty.
Okay, and then once we click on the character, then you'll have underneath a list of options that you can do. They want us to move, which is the second one here. It's also number 2 on the keyboard. The first one is attack, third one is sprint, fourth one is use jump jets, and that's all I really used up to this point. It shows down here in the lower left hand corner our mech. We have a blackjack, and then if you click on a section of it, it'll tell you, for example, here we have 35 armor with 35 remaining, and then inside is that 60 or 80? Looks like 80 and 80. For example, here on our head we have 16, 16, then 45, 45. A leg is 55 armor with 55 remaining, 85 and 85 internal structures. Yeah. Over here on the right, we have a list of the weapons, the ammo that it has, the amount of damage it does, and the percentage to hit. That'll come into play a little bit later. Now, everything you do in this game causes heat. So you want to be careful and manage your heat. That's this bar here in our name, and it's also this bar down here, enlarged on the screen. So it wants us to move, so we're on move, and then we'll click to where it wants us to go. Now we have to pick a facing. This whole game is based off of hexes. The map is all hexes. So I can face this way, I can face this way. Actually, I don't have enough movement points left to completely turn around, but you could. So basically, you have to, after you click to where you want to go, you click to where you want to face. And then you want to just make sure your enemy stays in that arc. Brought you here, something's wrong, it's been too quiet since the funeral, worried about the lady's safety. Actuators check out because we were able to move. Let's go ahead and test our weapons.
Like I was saying, I can't prove anything, but my gut tells me something's off, and a warrior trusts their instincts.
Okay, so now we're still in round 1 up here in the upper left hand corner. Our objective is test our weapons, so it's now our turn to fire. We have the attack icon. We pick which unit we want to fire at. In this case, it's test dummy UMR 60. When we click on it, we're going to be able to see basically in a second person of what it would look like if we were in the mech. We can choose our weapons. You can see here that everything has a 95% chance of hitting because he's in the wide open. So we're going to go ahead and just unload on him. So once we've decided which ones we want to use, we'll just hit fire. Okay, up here at the top, the red pulsing is showing where we're hitting. Sometimes it's the left, sometimes it's the right, sometimes it's the back. Here in this case, we're going to hit in the front of this mech. Nothing on the side, nothing in the back.
All weapons committed. Enemy mech destroyed.
Okay, you can see a whole bunch of stuff scrolled up here. This is basically telling you what damage you've done and what's actually happening. It happens so fast I can't read it, so I just wait to hear what the computer's report is. Good shot, your guns are working. He says he's been training the lady since she was 14. She can be naive, but she's going to be a just and effective ruler in his opinion. Okay. Oh, and then the cousin, Victoria Espinosa, is her confidant, and he's also been training Lady Victoria. Okay, now we're going to check our targeting computer, and he wants us to fire at that drone, and then get it to move and basically hit it in the back because armor.
Like a daughter to me, and her late father, High Lord Damati, was a good friend.
Armor in the back is traditionally softer than the armor in the front. So we're going to attack. We're going to attack this drone. And again, everything's going to hit, so we might as well just unload on it.
All weapons committed.
Now, he had a 20...
Victoria pulls no punches, but she's been a loyal companion to Kamea since they were kids. Aside from you, there's no one I'd rather have by my side in a fight.
So you might have seen there, he actually took 20% less damage because he's in the trees. It makes it harder to hit him. So he moved, so we'll go ahead and target him again. Now the first time we were hitting here, and you can see we did a lot of damage to this side armor of this vehicle. Now the red is showing us that we are aiming at the back because we forced it to move.
All weapons committed. Enemy unit destroyed.
Okay, so now he's going to want us to try our jump jets. Our particular mech is small enough and is equipped with jump jets. So it will allow us to jump up and down cliffs. I want to say on the Blackjack it was a movement of 3. So again, I don't exactly know how it translates into the game, but yeah. So we'll click on our character because it is our turn. And then this number 4 is the jump jets. So we'll highlight that. And then we'll pick where we want to jump to. If it is in red, you cannot do that move. These little dots are the center of all the hexes around us. And we'll show you the limit to how far you can actually go. So for example, we can't go all the way up here. The dots only extend that far. So we'll go ahead and jump to there. And then we'll face in a northern direction so that we keep the theater in our arc of fire.
Enemy detected.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. Jump jets build a lot of heat, and that was more than your engine could handle. Head on into that water. We need to get you cooled off.
Okay, so the jump jets failed. Got us there, but it overheated us. You can see this line is just all the way across. Also, if we click on our character here, you can see here our heat is just way too high. If your heat is too high for too long, your mech will actually shut down and can cause damage to not only your mech, but could kill you. Standing in water will cool you down. So we're going to go ahead and move. And depending on how deep the water is, will show how, or will help cool you off. If you're in up to your knees, you cool off a certain bit. If you're up to your neck, you'll cool off a lot more. So here, plasma leak detected, jump jet malfunction. He's pissed off because the yard is so backlogged. He's saying they didn't fix my mech good enough because they're trying to get all the Royal Guard mechs ready for the coronation. It's too late to get them replaced, so we'll just have to deal without them. So it's nice to know that we can have them. It's just we're not going to be able to use them until we get them replaced. Targeting melee on... Okay, so another option is melee. Rather than using your ranged weapons, you just go in and do fisticuffs. So we're set up to move, and if we, rather than clicking on a spot, if we just click on the actual mech, we will run right into him. Okay, so that was a good headbutt. Took him out.
Push that engine, kid. If something goes wrong today, I want to know that your mech can maneuver.
Okay, so now he wants to test our sprinting. Sprinting, basically, you can do once in a while. It increases your movement, but it also increases your heat, and there's a higher chance that, for example, you might fall down. But it also makes it harder for people to hit you. So it's a nice thing to have in reserve, but you don't want to use it all the time. Sprinting is number 3, and we are sprinting into this area. The boss is over to our right, so let's go ahead and angle our mech this way to face him. He just fired at us and missed, because we got a -1 evasive because we sprinted. So basically that is our training exercise. We've pretty much just learned everything we need to know to get into the game.
An impressive display, Sir Raju. Of course, this mech warrior was a student of yours. I'd expect them to know their way around a cockpit.
Okay, and now we need to return to our mentor. So we'll click on our character, we'll move, and doesn't look like we're going to make it there in one move. So let's go ahead and sprint. Come on. And then he's facing this way. Can we? No. So we're going to kind of have our back to him. I don't like that. So let's go ahead and hit this back button, which will disable that first command. If we sprint to here, do we have enough movement left over to turn? Kind of. We'll go ahead and face this direction.
Full throttle.
Okay, Victoria Espinosa is her cousin, and they're just gonna have some banter here. Again, read it if you like.
Mission successful.
Okay, so he's a good captain of the guard, and he's basically got an itch about what's going on. So He's the boss, and we will definitely follow him. So, that's the introduction to the game. I want to thank you all for watching, and go ahead and leave a like. It is always appreciated on this channel. And until next time, be safe.